Things are really going to spice up now because we are going to talk about conditionals. What exactly are conditionals? Conditionals are basically basic logic building blocks in our Python program. Let's see them in action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder called 08 underscore conditionals, and let's open this folder in VS Code. I'm going to close the previous folder and let's open this folder in VS Code. Let's create a new program called if.py, and let me call it if else if statement.py. But before that, let me show you what I have in the handbook for you. So what exactly are control flow and loops? Let's start by talking about if-else conditional statement. Sometimes we want to do a particular task based off a condition. For example, if it's not raining outside, you might go for a movie. Sometimes if it's raining outside, you might take an umbrella. So you're taking the umbrella, this particular action, depends upon whether it's raining outside or not. In a very similar way, if let us say the value of a is greater than 5, you might want to execute some lines of code. And if the value of a is not greater than that particular number, you might want to execute some other lines of code. And this is where conditional statements come to your rescue. Let's see them in action. We are going to start by using if and elif and else in Python. It's really very simple. Let's start by understanding what are if statement. So let us say age is equal to 32. Let us say somebody's age is 32 and let's see if they can drive or not. So what I'll do is I'll simply say if age is greater than 18, then we are going to print you can drive. Okay. Otherwise, we want to say nothing. Okay. Let's run this program and you'll see you can drive on the screen. What if I make this 12? Is 12 greater than 18? It's definitely not. So if I run this program, you'll see nothing. Nothing is printed on the screen because this particular piece of code is not executed. So if statement is basically me saying to Python interpreter, hey Python interpreter, could you please do one thing for me? Execute this line of code only if this condition is true. And these 4 spaces are basically telling the Python interpreter that this line is inside the if statement. And I can add multiple lines inside if statement. So whatever I write here after the 4 spaces is inside this if statement. And these 4 spaces are called indentation. So from now I'm going to say indentation and not these 4 spaces. Okay. I'll refer these spaces as indentation from now on. Now let us say I say print thank you. So if the age is greater than 18, you are going to see you can drive and thank you. But for this case, the age is not greater than 18. So you are not seeing anything. Okay. Let's change the value of age to 52 and let's try to run this program now. It outputs you can drive, thank you. So it says you can drive and then thank you, which means that these 2 statements are executed only when this condition is true. So if statement is used to execute set of statements in a Python program based off a certain condition. Okay. Now I can say print end of program and I'll see end of program as well. So this particular line is outside my if statement because I am not using an indent, which means I have exited the if statement. So now end of program is being printed. You can drive is being printed. Thank you is being printed. Let's change this age back to 12 and you'll see that only end of program is being printed. Why is only end of program being printed? Because the if statement is not being executed because age is not greater than 18. 12 is not greater than 18. So this particular if statement is not being executed, which means that these 2 lines are not being executed, but this line will always be executed because this is outside if statement. Okay. So age is equal to 12. This is not being executed. This is being executed and we see end of program on the screen. Okay. Awesome. So this was if statement. Let's see how we can use else statement. So if I say if else.py, I can leverage the same program or maybe let's write a new one, right? So this time I'm going to take age as an input from the user. I'll say enter your age and then I'll say print, or maybe I'll say if age is greater than 18, I'll say print you can drive And then I can say else print you cannot drive. You cannot drive. Okay. Now if I run this program and if I enter my age, which is 45, let us say, let's press enter. You can drive. I can drive because I am 45. What if I am 65? I can still drive. But what if I am 15? You cannot drive is being printed on the screen. Let me show you another VS Code trick. Do you see this Python written here? If you drag it like this here very carefully, you'll get it as a tab. So if I run this program, I'll see this tab and I can see this more clearly. Now, some people prefer it here, but some people also prefer it here. So it's your choice. Okay, you can either terminate this and then see it here again. It's basically your choice. Okay, but let me keep it here itself because I think it's a bit clean. Okay, let's enter the age as 34. You can drive. Let's enter the age as 1. You cannot drive. Okay, so this is how else statement works. So either of if or else is executed. Okay, so this is if statement, this is if else statement. So far so good. In this case, this line is inside if statement, this line is inside else statement. And if I say print end of program, this line is not inside any of these statements. So end of program string is anyways printed irrespective of what age I type. Okay, now let's see how if elif else ladder works. Now this one is really important. You have to pay attention. Now if I say if elif else.py and let's say age is equal to int input and let's say enter your age, and then I might say if age is greater than 18, let's say print you can drive. Okay, you can drive. But what will happen if age is equal to 18, exactly equal to 18, 18, I can actually use an elif and put another condition. So firstly what happens is this condition is checked, and if this condition is not true, another condition is checked. So initially we checked whether you are greater than 18. If you are, you can actually drive. You are free to drive. You have the license, go and drive. But if the age is equal to 18, like you are exactly 18, we'll have to check you. So I can say print, let's schedule an interview. So we might see if the person is fit enough or if the person is mature enough to drive or not. And otherwise we can say else print sorry you cannot drive. Okay, so this is a very straightforward program. If the age is greater than 18, let the person drive. Else if the age is equal to 18, let's schedule an interview. Otherwise we are sorry, you cannot drive. Let's run this program and you'll see it's asking me for the age. 34, you can drive. 46, you can drive. 18, let's schedule an interview. But what if I say 11, you cannot drive. Can 14 drive? No, 14 even cannot drive. But if you are exactly equal to 18, let's schedule an interview. So what happens is if elif and else work in conjunction, it works in collaboration with each other. So this is a single if elif else ladder. You can have as many elif statements as possible. For example, you can check for 18 and you can even check for any other value. You can even check for, let us say, you can say if age is greater than 18, you can drive. Then you can do another elif and you can say if age is equal to 0. Let us say if age is equal to 0, you can say print, hey, you are just born. Okay, you can say something like that. Hey, you are just born. Why do you want to drive a car? So let's run this program. Let's say age is 0. If age is 0, hey, you are just born. How does it work? It basically checks for the first condition. The first condition is not true. 0 is not greater than 18. Then it goes after another condition. 0 is not equal to 18. Then it goes after the next condition. And since this particular condition is true, it says, okay, since age is equal to 0, let's print, hey, you are just born. Otherwise, it's going to print, sorry, you cannot drive. I hope that is clear, and I hope I was able to explain that well. Now I've written exactly the same thing in the notes very quickly so that you can grasp, but this was the detailed explanation of if else statement. Let's now continue our Python journey and move on to the next video.